1. I think it's very important to have a feedback loop where you're constantly thinking about what you've done and how you could be doing it better. 2. The value of beauty and inspiration is very much underrated, no question. But I want to be clear, I'm not trying to be anyone's savior. I'm just trying to think about the future and not be sad. 3. If we're going to have any chance of sending stuff to other star systems, we need to be laser-focused on becoming a multi-planet civilization. 4. Mars is the only place in the solar system where it's possible for life to become multi-planetarian. 5. Some people don't like change, but you need to embrace change if the alternative is disaster. 6. I would like to fly in space. Absolutely. That would be cool. I used to just do personally risky things, but now I've got kids and responsibilities, so I can't be my own test pilot. That wouldn't be a good idea, but I definitely want to fly as soon as it's a sensible thing to do. 7. A Prius is not a true hybrid, really. The current Prius is like 2% electric. It's a gasoline car with slightly better mileage. 8. Land on Mars, a round-trip ticket $500,000. It can be done. 9. I think Tesla will most likely develop its own autopilot system for the car, as I think it should be camera-based, not LiDAR-based. However, it is also possible that we do something jointly with Google. 10. I tend to approach things from a physics framework, and physics teaches you to reason from first principles rather than by analogy. 11. There's nothing I've bought everything I want. I don't like yachts or anything. You know, I'm not a yacht person, and I've got pretty much the nicest plane I'd want to have. 12. It is theoretically possible to warp spacetime itself, so you're not actually moving faster than the speed of light, but it's actually space that's moving. 13. If you look at our current technology level, something strange has to happen to civilizations, and I mean strange in a bad way. And it could be that there are a whole lot of dead, one-planet civilizations. 14. Here in the West, people often don't like listening to their leaders, even if they are right. 15. I wouldn't say I have a lack of fear. In fact, I'd like my fear emotion to be less because it's very distracting and fries my nervous system. 16. I think most of the important stuff on the internet has been built. There will be continued innovation, for sure, but the great problems of the internet have essentially been solved. 17. What I'm trying to do is to make a significant difference in spaceflight, and help make spaceflight accessible to almost anyone. 18. You need to be in the position where it is the cost of the fuel that actually matters and not the cost of building the rocket in the first place. 19. My vision is for a fully reusable rocket transport system between Earth and Mars that is able to refuel on Mars. This is very important so you don't have to carry the return fuel when you go there. 20. Silicon Valley has some of the smartest engineers and technology business people in the world. 21. A battery by definition is a collection of cells. So the cell is a little can of chemicals. And the challenge is taking a very high energy cell and a large number of them and combining them safely into a large battery. 22. I've actually made a prediction that within 30 years a majority of new cars made in the United States will be electric. And I don't mean hybrid, I mean fully electric. 23. The odds of me coming into the rocket business, not knowing anything about rockets, not having ever built anything, I would have to be insane if I thought the odds were in my favor. 24. In the early days of aviation, there was a great deal of experimentation and a high death rate. 25. I think we have a duty to maintain the light of consciousness to make sure it continues into the future. 26. I just want to retire before I go senile because if I don't retire before I go senile, then I'll do more damage than good at that point. 27. Self-driving cars are the natural extension of active safety and obviously something we should do. 28. When I was in college, I wanted to be involved in things that would change the world. 29. I was born in Africa. I came to California because it's really where new technologies can be brought to fruition, and I don't see a viable competitor. 30. People should pursue what they're passionate about. That will make them happier than pretty much anything else. 31. I say something, and then it usually happens. Maybe not on schedule, but it usually happens. 32. I don't create companies for the sake of creating companies, but to get things done. 33. People work better when they know what the goal is and why. It is important that people look forward to coming to work in the morning and enjoy working. 34. I don't spend my time pontificating about high-concept things. I spend my time solving engineering and manufacturing problems. 35. In order for us to have a future that's exciting and inspiring, it has to be one where we're a space-bearing civilization. 36. You need to live in a dome initially, but over time you could terraform Mars to look like Earth and eventually walk around outside without anything on. So it's a fixer-upper of a planet. 37. The future of humanity is going to bifurcate into directions. Either it's going to become multiplanetary, or it's going to remain confined to one planet, and eventually there's going to be an extinction event. 38. My background educationally is physics and economics, and I grew up in sort of an engineering environment. My father is an electromechanical engineer, and so there were lots of engineering things around me. 39. If something's important enough, you should try, even if the probable outcome is failure. 40. If you get up in the morning and think the future is going to be better, it is a bright day. Otherwise, it's not. 41. It's okay to have your eggs in one basket as long as you control what happens to that basket. 42. We're running the most dangerous experiment in history right now, which is to see how much carbon dioxide the atmosphere can handle before there is an environmental catastrophe. 43. I think life on Earth must be about more than just solving problems. It's got to be something inspiring, even if it is vicarious. 44. I'm interested in things that change the world or that affect the future and wondrous new technology where you see it and you're like, wow, how did that even happen? How is that possible? 45. Obviously, Tesla is about helping solve the consumption of energy in a sustainable manner, but you need the production of energy in a sustainable manner. 46. I think that's the single best piece of advice. Constantly think about how you could be doing things better and questioning yourself. 47. Patience is a virtue, and I'm learning patience. It's a tough lesson. 48. I take the position that I'm always to some degree wrong, and the aspiration is to be less wrong. 49. I think there are more politicians in favor of electric cars than against. There are still some that are against, and I think the reasoning for that varies depending on the person, but in some cases, they just don't believe in climate change. They think oil will last forever. 50. What most people know but don't realize they know is that the world is almost entirely solar-powered already. If the sun wasn't there, we'd be a frozen ice ball at 3 degrees Kelvin, and the sun powers the entire system of precipitation. The whole ecosystem is solar-powered. 51. I always invest my own money in the companies that I create. I don't believe in the whole thing of just using other people's money. I don't think that's right. I'm not going to ask other people to invest in something if I'm not prepared to do so myself. 52. I like the word autopilot more than I like the word self-driving. Self-driving sounds like it's going to do something you don't want it to do. Autopilot is a good thing to have in planes, and we should have it in cars. 53. There are really two things that have to occur in order for a new technology to be affordable to the mass market. One is you need economies of scale. The other is you need to iterate on the design. You need to go through a few versions. 54. There have only been about a half-dozen genuinely important events in the 4-billion-year saga of life on Earth: single-celled life, multi-celled life, differentiation into plants and animals, movement of animals from water to land, and the advent of mammals and consciousness. Thank you guys for watching. Please subscribe, like, share, and comment below.